Hello everybody. So today I'm going to talk about myrtleberries, and these were very nicely sent to me by wanderlustnursery.com. So if you're interested in growing this, take a look at the description below. There's a link to their website there. They look a little bit like a blueberry that you stretched out a bit, maybe a little bit more like the honeyberry. People like the myrtleberry tree because it has very pretty flowers on it. So sometimes people are not growing it for the fruit to eat, it's being grown because it looks really nice. The fruits are edible though, you can eat them as they are, but more commonly they are mixed with other things. It's either mixed with things to make a jam out of, or it is cooked with. It's especially popular with meat dishes, so I'm curious if this is going to have more of like a savory flavor to it. It's also popular in Sardinia as an ingredient in Mirto, which is an alcohol that they have there. What I have right here, everybody, is Mirto. Probably saying that wrong. Fun fact about me, I don't drink. There's been a few instances where I have taken a sip of an alcohol here and there. Really don't have much experience with it, but either way, it's a rare opportunity. Let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm probably not the best gauge to whether or not this is a quality alcohol, since I don't really know what alcohol tastes like. My only frame of reference is that this kind of tastes like NyQuil, and I will do my best to break down this flavor even though I don't know anything about alcohol. This has a flavor that is very botanical. So juniper berries, rosemary, like an herbal sort of flavor. It has a flavor that's kind of like mulling spice. So cinnamon, maybe a touch of clove. As far as fruit goes, it is not like grape, it is more like cherry. And it's also very sweet, which I'm sure is something that they add to it, right? That sweetness is kind of like honey, maybe like a little bit like molasses. It's like a dark, deep sort of flavor. So this is the sort of thing that if you like very botanical alcohol or mulled alcohol, this would be something that you like. So if you like gin, I guess you might like this. If you like glue wine, you might like this. I'm probably not the most qualified spokesperson for Mirto, but I can see that if you like alcohol, it's probably fine. A few fun facts about the myrtleberry is this is referenced a lot in Greek and Roman mythology. It has a connotation with Aphrodite. It's a symbol of her. In Judaism, the myrtle plant is considered one of 5 sacred plants, and these plants all have different connotations of different sorts of personalities that exist in the faith. And this one is a representative of somebody who does a lot of good deeds, a lot of what you call like a mitzvah, but they do not have enough knowledge of the Torah. So the reason why it has that connotation is that these look really nice, but they don't taste very nice. I'm curious to see if maybe this isn't going to be the tastiest thing in the world. Let's find out. That is not what I was expecting. It's very herbal and astringent too. And the texture of the fruit itself is pasty. So that combination isn't so great. It's also full of a bunch of like little seeds. Those don't break down very much. This does not taste like a blueberry. This does not taste like a honeyberry. This tastes like a bit like rosemary. It's got that like a little bit of a piney kind of flavor. It's a little spicy too, like a little bit like a little bit of black pepper in there too. It's slightly bitter, but not that bad. It's slightly sweet, but not that much. Maybe like a 1 or a 2. The aftertaste of it reminds me of a creamsicle. It's got like a little bit of a vanilla flavor and a little bit of like orange rind kind of flavor. You know, actually this isn't bad. It's just not something that I would want to eat fresh like this. This is one that you definitely want to cook with. This is used as a sweet in some ways, but usually when it's used that way, it's like a jam and it's mixed with other sorts of berries. And I think that would be a good way to use this because it would take, like if you were to mix this with blueberry jam, it would give it like a whole other kind of element to it. And if you were to mix this in with like a meat dish, or like if you want to go veggie, if you were to like crush this up and saute it with some vegetables or something, it would be a way to add some spice to it. You would get a little bit of a fruit flavor to it, but you would also get that herbal flavor and that peppery taste in there. Maybe a little bit like a juniper berry in that way. The leaves of this are also edible. However, they're not usually just like eaten like an herb. I don't think they're used more like you would use a bay leaf. So you take the leaves and you can infuse that flavor into something. Which I'm gonna try one of these. I'm just gonna chew on one of these leaves to kind of get an idea of what that tastes like. The leaves of that are good, but again, something that you would want to do something with. You don't want to eat that on its own. It reminds me of like lemon rind, something like that. Like a little bit of grassy, but like lemon rind or orange rind. It does have some of the qualities that the berry does, but it's also quite different. Much more of an herbal taste, leafy taste. It's a leaf, you know. So I can see this actually being a pretty good one to use in combination with those berries. If you were to like put those in with something that you're cooking, put them both in there, like saute them, and then remove this, that'd be really good. Or if you were to take this and make a soup out of it or something, it'd be good. Actually, I'm going to do that. What I'm going to make is a chicken soup, okay? As I've heard that this is very often used in chicken recipes, so I'm gonna make my vegetarian chicken soup. And to do that, probably take a cooking class at some point. Alright, myrtle leaves. I feel like I don't want to get like a whole berry while I'm eating this. This is textured vegetable protein, and it has like a chewiness like chicken does. Alright, so looks good, smells good. I'm gonna try some of the broth. I make this all the time, and usually when I do that, I use rosemary, bay leaves, and thyme. And this way tastes very different. It does still taste herbal, though. It tastes like I put herbs in it, just different herbs. It is a little bit sweet, which makes it different than how it normally tastes when I make it the other way. And it is a little bit savory tasting from those herbs in there. So I think this is something that I would use in the way that I did, but I think it'd also be really good in other sorts of dishes, like a dry dish maybe. If you cook meat, then throw this in with your meat, and it's gonna give it like a little bit of a sweetness, a little bit of an herbal taste. It's gonna go pretty well. And if you're vegetarian like me, then you could throw this in with like a stir fry, or mix it in with like your tofu or something, and it would add a different sort of element to it. So it's good, it's a fun one to play with. I think if I were to make the soup again, I probably would do what I did, but also use maybe some rosemary. I think it feels like it's lacking a little bit of that extra herbal taste that rosemary would have, but otherwise that's really good. So thanks again to Wanderlust Nursery for sending this to me, and if you are interested in this, check out the link in the description below. Take care. Bye-bye. I want to give a special shout out to AltPod and Smarter Every Day. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. Patreon is how this channel happens. It's how I can afford to do all the things that I do. So if you want to help me out by supporting the channel and getting some bonuses along the way, check out the description. I also have these shirts for sale. Those are in the description as well. See you next time. Bye.